The Metro on 1019 WDET. I'm Tia Graham. And if you saw a young person on the street right now, maybe waiting on a bus, would you know if they were homeless or not? And would you care? Covenant House, Michigan has been serving the state's homeless youth population for nearly 30 years. And for the past 12 years, the organization has hosted Sleep Out Detroit. The annual event is part of an annual movement held across the globe. And on November 20th, more than 100 people will camp out to financially support and bring awareness to youth homelessness right here in Detroit. Joining me now to talk more about Sleep Out Detroit is CEO Megan Dunn and Detroit-based artist, public speaker, and co-owner of the Smile brand, Phillip Simpson. Thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Pretty cool.
It's great to speak with you as well. We're going to start with Megan, though. Youth Homelessness Awareness Month. It's recognized throughout the month of November. What is Sleep Out Detroit, and how does it help bring awareness to the issue of youth homelessness?
Well, I appreciate your question. And even in the introduction, when you said, if you see a young person at a bus stop, do we know if they're homeless, and do you care? Because that's really what Sleep Out is about. It's really a movement where for one night we give up our privileges of our home, our beds, the warmth and caring environment that we live in. And, we raise money and awareness, but we sleep out. We have a night of discussions where young people really take lead, and they lead the discussions around their experience with homelessness and truly where they'd like to take their lives. Then we end the night where all of us participating, we stay outside, we sleep outside, we're in the elements, and we really get to have just a very small understanding of what it's like to lose that privilege and to, sleep out and then get up the next day and be expected to function. So it's a very moving evening, and I'm just glad that we're still here to be able to do it.
And Megan, youth homelessness is often an invisible condition. We were just, talking about that for a moment. Most people may not notice what it looks like for a young person to go unhoused. So what is the leading, contributing factor to the large number of youth homelessness that we see today?
Thanks for the question. What we're seeing at Covenant House is, about 30% of our young people age out of foster care. So really not having that next step once a young person turns 18 and those state services are no longer available. But this is it's an invisible sign here in our community where young people are, many of them are working, right? Mm-hmm. They have jobs, they are, baristas or working at a cleaners or a restaurant. But it's an affordability issue. So they still aren't making quite enough to live even in affordable housing situations. 75% of our young people self-report that they have mental health challenges. So there's a lot of different reasons that a young person might end up being housing insecure or experiencing homelessness. And so what we're doing here at Covenant House is becoming their safety net so that their lives can be transformed for the time that they're with us.
Now, Megan, going back to Sleep Out Detroit, this initiative does put people in a place of empathy and sympathy, and it makes you feel and understand with direct exposure. What about this initiative has struck a chord with people, in your opinion?
I think what the chord is, again, we get to hear directly. So the night evolves around young people having the agency and the leadership to be able to inform us of what their experience is and what it's like to experience homelessness. So it's not just our own perspective or, what we're thinking. A lot of people may think that, this person must have a substance abuse problem. Yeah. That's why they're homeless, when usually that is not the case. So it's just the awareness is so big. This will be my fourth sleep out. And every time I learn something new, when I'm laying out on the ground, when I hear the noises, outside, especially, having the expectation to get up the next day and still go to work, right? So it's really thinking about not just the night, but how that one night impacted, my days ahead. And so when we think about someone that's experiencing homelessness and they do this night after night, in many instances sleeping in cars or sleeping in an abandoned home, and then as a society we expect them to say, hey, you should go get a job or you should go to school. The whole experience of us sleeping out gives a very different perspective of what we should be expecting of people.
And Phil, bringing you into the conversation because I saw that last year you also participated. Now, I do want to talk about your work first and foremost as an artist, as a muralist in the city of Detroit. You've had a different viewpoint traveling around and creating around the city. So what about Sleep Out compelled you to participate?
Oh, my goodness. Thank you. When I tell you, I showed up to paint a mural last year, and that was my commitment. I donated some money, and I thought, hey, that's good, And then I decided to stay, but not really knowing why I was staying. So it's like, I should stay tonight. And around 2 a.m., it's like, oh, wow, it's really cold out here. And Megan said something about the noises you hear. We're Covenant House located off 96, and all you hear is the fast trucks, the fast cars, but we're kind of gated. And I started thinking about the families that's not gated. Mm-hmm. They're right there next to the road. They're right there next to the cars. It can be something scary to think about, not only the temperature, but the elements of society. And I'm like, oh, my goodness. It really hit me. Like I was moved in a way that I didn't expect because I didn't know what I was getting into. Mm-hmm. But now going back for a year or two, I'm looking forward to just make sure people are aware, and anything I can do to do that, I'm there for it.
And, just being in the city of Detroit and seeing, we have an understanding of homelessness in the city of Detroit. We understand it, we see it. But when you're talking right now about experiencing it last year with Covenant House, you coming to paint a mural, and then you stay and you see the issue at hand, you see it for the first. Was this one of the first times that you really were able to have a tangible understanding of what was going on?
I must say that that's correct. I spoke with people who have experienced homelessness, and we've had discussions, and I've donated. But being there on the ground, hearing the noises, feeling the temperature, not being comfortable, but what really hit me was I'm so blessed to wake up in the morning and go back to my home. Yeah. And then there was so many people who can't say that. And it just hit me again. So I definitely recommend, this for everyone because it changed something in me. I just want to do more. I was very grateful for my family. Yeah. And I started appreciating the little things that I may take for granted.
And Phil, really quickly, are you a father?
I am. I have 2 daughters.
Yes. So what did that do for you as well as a dad?
Oh, my goodness. I just I immediately got in the house and hugged my baby. Yeah. One of my babies is 25. I got 25 and 8-year-olds, so there's a nice gap there. But at that moment, they were both my little babies, and I was like, oh, my God, let's talk about how privileged you guys are. And let's talk about how blessed, not privileged, let's talk about how blessed we are. Because what I just experienced, there's people around the nation, around the world experiencing this at your age, Mm-hmm. So they, my babies want to help out also.
Yeah. I love that. So we're talking about Sleep Out Detroit. Our guests are CEO of Covenant House Michigan, Megan Dunn, and Detroit-based artist and public speaker Phil Simpson. Megan, bringing you back into the conversation and speaking to Covenant House at large, we've seen federal cuts and increasing prices on everyday supplies. What have you all been experiencing in the past year in terms of need?
That's such a great question. All of us, the federal uncertainties, kept us up at night, yes. not knowing what may happen the next day. And even though, thankfully the government is back up and running, there's still that question of what may happen next. So the uncertainty it ripples throughout our community. All nonprofit leaders are feeling this. So, but what we're seeing, though, is that, not just young people that are coming to Covenant House for services, but their family members, too, are now, experiencing many hardships as it relates to, when there was, the temporary cut to SNAP benefits. We were seeing some young people that needed some additional support, even for family members that were out in the community. So we're just stepping in as best as we can to be their advocates, not only for our residents, but for the people that they care for. So we're seeing this, show up in a lot of different ways. Again, a part of it is food insecurity. A part of it is when a young person turns 18 and there may not be as many, benefits at their home life. That's sometimes when their first experience with homelessness happens because they have to leave home. because of some, hardship or things like that. So we're seeing it show up in a lot of different ways here at Covenant House. And so what we're doing is staying on top of things, staying on track, so that we not only are serving the young people that live with us, but how can we be an advocate for people that are in their lives.
And Megan, as well, we're headed into the holiday season. What are some donations needed that aren't often donated for teens and young people especially?
Thank you for asking that. Quarterly, we put out a list of things of things that are needed for young people, and it's truly based on what their needs are versus what we have. So, really serving in those gaps. But coats, socks, and gloves are so important for anybody right now, but certainly for anybody that may be experiencing homelessness or maybe a resident here at Covenant House. We have young people that come to us with exactly what they have on in many cases, or just a small bag of belongings. And so those, especially as we prepare for the holidays and for the winter months, are some things that are really needed here at Covenant House. We keep an ongoing list on our website, which is covenanthouseandmy.org. Anybody can visit that at any time and take a look at what some of the most pressing needs are.
And Phil, before we get down to the end of our conversation, as an artist, how do you see creatives in the city bringing awareness to different causes, especially being a public speaker yourself and working around with so many different organizations and people?
Thank you for asking that. As an artist, I've been very privileged to do murals with amazing organizations. And due to my subject matter, I get to work with a lot of youth because I primarily paint smiles.
Yeah.
And so when I talk to the youth, and I encourage them to do, their next mural, because sometimes we teach murals, we talk about uplifting your community, change that wall in your neighborhood to something where a child or an adult can walk past and feel inspired. And been very blessed to have friends and organizations in the city that trust me with that mission.
And, Phil, that's one thing we didn't get to, but you are the smiley face painter. For those who see the murals of smiles across the city, that's Phil's work. And I'm so excited that we got to have you on the show today to talk a little bit about just some of your work, but of course the importance of the work and what it does for the city, beautifying those walls. But Megan, before we let you both go, Megan, just give us one more detail about Sleep Out Detroit, especially this year. It's happening tomorrow for those who are interested.
Yes, it's happening tomorrow right here on our campus. We're located in North Corktown. We are really excited to host our 12th annual Sleep Out. We do it rain or shine. So that's the point of all of this. We do this regardless of what the weather may be. We're fingers crossed that it won't be too rainy, but you don't choose to be homeless and you don't get to choose the weather. So we do this rain or shine. You can still sign up right on our website at covenanthouseandmy.org. You can sign out to support. You can give a donation. You can come in to volunteer. We appreciate all the support from the community that has showed up so far for our young people.
Megan Dunn is CEO of Covenant House, and Phillip Simpson is a Detroit-based artist, public speaker, and co-owner of the Smile brand. Thank you both for joining us on the Metro today.
Thank you for having us.
Coming up, a direct descendant of the Motown sound joins the Metro. R&B singer-songwriter Beth pulls back the curtain on her career and details what it takes to make music, to make it in music. This is the Metro. We'll be right back.